Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'd like to show you how I made this card. I posted this to my blog recently and somebody contacted me and said I really can't work out quite how you've done that. Any chance of a video to showing us how? And of course I'm always delighted to make a video to show you things that you'd like. So I'm going to show you the card pieces I'm going to use. I'm changing my colour scheme. So you're going to need a very vanilla card base, which is 8 1/4 inches by 5 3/4, scored and folded at 4 1/8, or metric, that is 21 by 14.5 centimetres, scored and folded at 10.5. And then you'll need a piece of basic grey, and this measures 4 inches by 5 5/8 inches, or 10.25 by 14.25 centimetres. And then a layer of very vanilla, and this measures 3 7/8 inches by 5 1/2 inches, or 10 by 14 centimetres. A sheet of designer series paper from the This Christmas specialty designer series paper pack. Whichever design you choose, whether it's this particular pack of designer series paper or whatever, just make sure that on one side has a fairly plain pattern. I will show you one at the end where it's a bit busy on both sides and it doesn't work out quite as nicely as it does when you've got one fairly plain one. Okay, so hopefully this is going to work out really nicely. And this measures the same as this piece of very vanilla, which is 3 7/8 inches by 5 1/2 inches, or 10 by 14 centimetres. You will also need a piece of very vanilla and a piece of basic grey, both of which measure approximately 2 1/2 inches by 2 1/2 inches, or 6.5 by 6.5 centimetres. Then you'll need 3 pieces, very thin pieces like this, of your designer series paper. That's the other side on there. And these measure approximately 1/8 of an inch by 5 1/2 inches, which is 0.3 centimetres by 14 centimetres. The width of these don't really matter, it's for this bit up here, and as long as they're nice and narrow, they're fine. And also you'll need scraps to do the pine branches, pine cone and the berries. I've already done all of mine, but I'm going to do at least one of each so that I can show you what I do. So to start off with, I'm going to work on this piece here. And what you need to do is take a ruler and a pencil, and along the top here, make sure I've got this around the right way, yes, along the top, no, along the bottom here, you want to measure 2 3/4 inches along, or 7 centimetres along. So if I put that there, make sure that's nice and still, and then I'm just going to put a pencil mark up there. Okay, you can erase it afterwards, but as long as you can see it for this exercise. Now on this side, on the right side, starting on by the right corner, now this doesn't really matter when you're doing centimetres. You've got to measure 5 centimetres along. And the reason it doesn't matter is because that's 10 centimetres, so you're going to be halfway. We're not going to be, those of us working in inches, we're going to mark it at 1 7/8 inches, which is just there. And then we're going to measure 1 7/8 inches along here. Okay, Now what we're going to do is we are going to fold this bit up, and we're going to fold it from this pencil mark down to this pencil mark here. Okay, so get that one folding first, and then very gently do this, because if you're using this specialty paper, the reason this is specialty is because it's a lot finer than our regular designer series paper, and if you use your fingernail too much it will tear. So just gently ease those bits over, and then once you've got them sufficient, then you can roll it all over. Okay, then just flatten that down. I don't recommend that you use a bone folder on that. Now that one, you're going to fold it and then get this going at the fold, and when you're happy that they're both going nicely, then you can flatten that down. I came across this way of doing it purely and simply because I was doing the collar fold card, which normally you would cut up that line and then fold the bits back, but I wondered what would happen if I did it the other way round, and this wasn't really the other way round, but this is what I finished up with, and I thought it looked quite nice, so I thought I'd share it with you. Right, so I'm going to layer my card together. So first of all I'll put the Very Vanilla layer onto my basic grey layer, and you can use any adhesive you like. I just love using my Tombow on this. And then I'm going to put that onto my card base. There we go. Now this one, you should find that this will fit on there beautifully. Yep, that's okay. If you want to remove your pencil marks, this is the time to do it. I don't think it would be seen if you don't remove it, but just in case, if you feel happier getting rid of it. And that one wasn't actually a pencil mark, was it? That was just a mark on the paper. That was convenient. And also, before I stick this down, I'm going to put some glue dots just to hold these two flaps down. I'm just taking one, just popping it at the back of that triangle, and then flatten it. And then one to the back of that triangle, and then popping that down. Okay, so just line it up at the top there. Tombow does give you a little bit of time. Oops. Okay, so that's that bit. So now I'll leave that bit till last. Let's do this little scrap of stamping. So what I'm going to use, let's bring this one back. These are from the stamp set called Peace This Christmas, and what I'm using is that pine branch there, the pine cone and the berries, and I'm using cherry cobbler for the berries and soft suede for the pine cones, and the branches I'm doing in garden green. Now the garden green I'm expecting to come up quite a lot darker than what I have in my samples, because I did the samples, then I decided that the ink pad needed inking, so it's probably looking a lot better now. So first of all, let's do the garden green. Much darker than mine. Look at this. Oh, it's just too funny, that is. Right, okay, so that's the green one. Let's have the pine cone. Unfortunately, these do have to be fussy cut, but they're not difficult shapes to do. Now what I do with the berries, in fact we can come on to this one for the berries, it is just a single berry, but on my card, you see how I put three together? This really is, I just eyeball this. So what I tend to do is the first one in the centre, and then one off to the side, and then one off to that side. Sometimes I miss like that, sometimes they all get together, but I'm really not overly fussy on this at all. Right, so to fussy cut these out, this is quite straightforward. I do try and follow the bumps around because it's nice to have that little bit of character, if you like. And I do leave a little gap. I tend to go across the top of the pine cone because I did find on the first one it looked a bit pointed. I suppose it's just a different type of pine cone to what I'm used to, but I expect pine cones to look more rounded rather than pointed. There's that, and for the leaves, the branches rather, I really do not fuss about this at all. Again, I leave a little gap of the very vanilla around the edge. And again, if I get a little bit of a wiggle on the scissors as I go, that's fine. Okay, so there's that one. Now with these berries, again, I just treat it as if it's one stamp, just bridge the gap. And again, I don't get stressed out about this at all. That last bit's a little bit more difficult because you're trying to hold on to such a small piece. But there we go. So they're the three pieces. Let me bring in mine that I've done. In fact, I suppose I ought to do the big bit of stamping first, didn't I? And then get the big shot over. I have to say I do like that a lot better than my light coloured one, but it's going to do for now. So move those over there. I'm going to do my sentiment in basic grey. This is archival ink. Here we go. And I'm just going to do my best to get it into the centre here, and then I can use my Big Shot to die cut it out. There we go. Wonky, but that's fine. Now I'm just going to get my Big Shot up. Let's move these stamps out of the way. Right, so the two dies I'm going to be using. For the sentiment, I'm going to use our beautiful new stitched shape die. I'm using that one. And for the layering, I'm using our layering squares framelets. So that one goes on there. And then this one, as long as I make the die straight, will be okay. Let me just tilt that because I can't see whether that's straight or not. I think that should be right. There's only one way to find out. Right, let's see what we've done. One very nice scalloped square. And one stitched frame. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? Just love these stitched dies, and I think that looks straight as well. Right, let me just put this away. Bring that back. So this I'm going to adhere together with Tombow. I love how these fit together. Such a tiny amount of the frilly bit around the edge, really lovely. That's going to look good. Right, now for these, what I'm going to do is I'll use my silicone mat, and I need two of these, and I need two of these. Oh. I'm going to have two of these. One that's got three in a line there, can you see that? Yep. So that one, and we'll use one that's got three in a little gathering, but they're not touching each other. As I say, I really don't worry about that. Right, so first of all, let's do the leaves. Pine cones and the berries. And the first leaves, I do it so that this bit here, that's better, this bit here fits into the corner, like that. And then the pine cone points up to the green, and you will find that it comes just onto the green there. And the berries, I just make sure that my berries are up the right way with the little spiky bits going up there. Yep, you can see that. And then just pop that on there. And the same again on this side. Okay, fitting into the corner. Pine cone pointing towards the green. The berries, just make sure the tops are facing upwards. And then I just need one more for here and one lot of berries. Then the rest can go for another project. And then I need this one as well, and this I'm going to use with dimensionals. I'm getting right to the end here. Excuse me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to position my sentiment so that it will leave a certain amount of this exposed, and it means that this top here, just like one, possibly two, you can't really see that at all, can you? So that one or two of the scallops just come over the top here, because once this one goes down, that is going to cover up the gap at the bottom. Okay, so let me just see if I can get this on here straight. I think that looks okay, does it? Let's just double check that with my ruler. So that's 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. It's straighter than I think it looks. So what I do with this one, on this branch right down at the bottom here, on the back of it, I put one small bit of dimensional, which I cut earlier. Okay, can you see that bit? And just, yep, the big fat one at the bottom, it's coming down to the bottom. And then these two here, the top bits, I put a little bit of Tombow. And then position it so that the dimensional is down here, but these two are resting up here, and you're covering up this gap here. Okay, so that's that. And then some Tombow onto this little bit. Make sure the berries are up the right way. Now I need to put my strips across here. Right, I'm going to take a nice steady hand. Just put a very small amount of Tombow all the way along the strip. I tend to hold my breath when I'm doing things like this. So that's one. Two. Three. Now mine may be a bit longer than what I need, but that's okay as long as they're not shorter. Right, so I'll line that one up first. Make sure it comes right to the end. Yep, that's okay. With all the cards I've made so far, I have found that I've had to go over with my adhesive remover once I've finished this, and I've given it a chance to dry, because I do seem to bounce this up and down a bit so that it goes into places that it shouldn't go, but it's okay. The adhesive eraser is absolutely ideal for that. Oops, come on. There we go. And then the last one. There we go. So there's today's card. I hope you like it. As I say, it's variation on the collar fold card. This is the one that I showed you that I posted to my blog. There was this one which I thought worked out really nicely. Let me just move the camera out a bit, there's a bit of a squeeze here. That's better. And then the one that I didn't think worked brilliantly was this one here. I felt that this was too much of a pattern, and that was too much of a pattern. I don't know what you think. I'm going to have to look at it for a little while and decide what I think, but I'm definitely happy with these three. I know that. These are really good, very pleased. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed today's project. Many thanks for joining me. If you have any questions, please email me at janb@janbcards.com or leave a message in the box below. I'm always very happy to help you. If you'd like to purchase any of the products that I featured here, if you click on the box below, if you click on show more, it'll open up the box and there'll be a link in there for my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop. if you've enjoyed my video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button. And I will also be putting all the measurements and the ingredients that I've used, or products that I've used, on the screen. If you can't see them on the screen on the device that you're watching, again, click on the show more below and I'll make sure all the information is down there for you. Many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting. Cheerio.